Ladies and gentlemen, before I begin, let me just say that it is a little troubling for me to perform when there is daylight. The piece I present this evening, this afternoon, see, I'm telling you, it's very disorienting for me to be outside my house before 7 p.m. The piece I'm presenting this afternoon is called A Child's Christmas in Breif. And before I even start it, let me just take a moment to say, next weekend, on the 23rd at Beyond Baroque, I'm doing a huge fundraiser for an organization called RX Laughter, where I'm doing my entire one-person show that does not include this story. But I do about an hour and a half, and all the money is going to RX Laughter, which is dedicated toward using humor as a medicinal product for returning soldiers and recovering addicts, and it's a worthwhile cause because as a humorist and storyteller I have realized that laughter really is the very best medicine I can afford. Hear, hear. Did you say there's a fire over my head? Oh, there's a flyer over there. That makes so much more sense than I thought you said, whenever you like. Oh man, that makes me feel classy. Music behind the story. We are the only Jews in Schuylerville, New York. Everybody in Schuylerville knows we are the only Jews, so there is understandable confusion surrounding the huge, well-decorated Christmas tree in our uncurtained living room every year. We are not very good Jews. My mother, after a childhood of envy toward her friends with their beautiful trees and their wrapped packages, has decided that in adulthood, she can celebrate however she likes. So every year we pick out a tree, we drag it in, we decorate it. My sister and I are in charge of tinsel, and every year she screams at me, "Strands, not clumps! Strands, not clumps!" My father is an devout atheist, but he believes in history and tradition. So every year he pulls out the menorah. And for 8 nights we turn our backs on my mother's secular celebration tree, and we light the candles. We don't always know what day Hanukkah starts. Many years we find ourselves burning extra candles trying to make up lost time. My father doesn't know the Hebrew. Often he makes it up as he goes along. Abracadabra, alakazam, we light the candles, we don't eat ham. By the 8th night it gets ridiculous. We will not eat it in a boat. We will not eat it with a goat. We will not eat the Gentiles' ham. We will not eat it l'chaim. This year, he's found a pamphlet. On one side it has the Hebrew, on the other side the phonetic spellings. And so we stand in front of the menorah, mouthing words unfathomable to me. Baruch atah, I don't have a clue what I am saying. He tries to explain the story to, well, we ask him the story, and first he goes the traditional self-deprecating route of the self-loathing anti-Semite. He says, at Hanukkah, we celebrate the fact that many centuries ago, some of our ancestors got a great deal on some lamp oil. Then he winces and shrugs as though he is forgiving himself for some decades-old slight committed against a college roommate. And he tries desperately to tell us the story. It involves Maccabees who bafflingly are not Scottish. It's all about oil, how much there was, how long it would last. My sister is 13. She has a keenly refined sense of hypocrisy. She has figured out that all religion, Judeo-Christian traditions, are steeped in patriarchal history. Any nod to either of these is a clear indication that we are not as committed to women's rights as we would have everyone believe. Religion has been the source of warfare over the years. Any nod to any religion is an indication that we are not as committed to world peace as we would have everyone believe. The gift-giving tradition is all part of a corporate consumerist construct. Any purchasing and wrapping and exchanging of gifts, an indication that we are not as committed to global human rights as we would have everyone believe. I am 11. I like presents. I like days off from school, reading comic books in my pajamas for so long that the elasticized ankles leave rib marks in my pale flesh. Dusty, the great sheepdog mutt of my youth, believes that we are the happiest, most wonderful family in the world, and that any food left out is there for him. He is having a very happy and very gassy holiday. The true miracle of the season lies in the fact that our home does not explode. It's the mid-70s. My father has bought a pot-bellied stove somewhere, set it up in the living room, had a handyman run pipe from the back of the stove to an opening in our chimney. There's an energy crisis this year. I don't understand it. OPEC, embargo, words as baffling to me as if they were in Hebrew. It's all about oil, how much there is, how long it'll last. My father is convinced that the pot-bellied stove will save us money on our heating bill. And he is correct. Because when it's lit, it heats an area 7 feet in diameter around itself. An area which encompasses the thermostat. Stove is lit, furnace shuts down. Every year, my father brings out the record of Dylan Thomas, my namesake, reading his Child's Christmas in Wales on one side, and on the other side, other poetry, Fern Hill, and Now As I Was Young and Easy Under the Apple Boughs, and so on. Rage Against the Dying of the Light. He puts on A Child's Christmas in Wales. Every year he wants me to listen to it. Every year I listen for a few minutes and then get bored and wander away. This year he has not brought out the record. Perhaps he's become disenchanted with a tradition that always leads him to disappointment. Maybe he's just forgotten. I bring out the record. Maybe I've inherited his love of tradition. Maybe I'm just seeking parental approval. Whatever the reason. I pull the record out of the shelf and I drop the vinyl out of the sleeve and I put it on the turntable. And I drop the needle. And I lie down on the floor and I rest my head against Dusty, my great coffee-stained mutt. And he turns to snuffle at me, stolen latkes on his breath. Outside, the white snow falls. Inside, the black disc turns. And I listen to the dead, drunken Welshman tell his dimple youth tales of salt-stained, sea-soaked holidays long ago, of snowballs thrown and melted but frozen in his lyric memory, of chocolate cigarettes. And I think he's gotten it wrong, because I've had candy cigarettes, and they were always bubble gum. And I am 11, and I know everything. But I don't. I don't know that as I lie, knees pointed toward the ceiling, eyes drooping, tiny feet chilling flat on cold hardwood, that I am learning to love language, the cadence of a well-wrought clause. the beauty of perfect lyric phrasing. I do not know that I am freezing my own memories into snow globes against future use. And here, in this chilly, godless house, these are holy days. Thank you.
It was boiling hot and I have to through the air.